Hey, welcome back, podcast friends. In today's episode, just like the title says, I want to talk to you about just some of the hidden dangers of food colorings that our food companies put into their foods. But these are the same colorings that you can put in that they put in drugs and also in cosmetics. And I really hope that this podcast makes you as mad as it makes me because the stuff that's going on right now is absolutely horrible. And I've already talked to you. You know how I feel about all this man-made fake food. And I just thank God that we have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in here that's actually bringing more people's attention to all the stuff that goes on in our drug companies and our food companies. And so as I go through this, just remember the easiest way to avoid all this is quit eating their products. If you stick to eating real meat, real fruit, real vegetables, you can avoid all these things that I'm getting ready to tell you about. So first, and again, just like I said in the last couple podcasts, I've been reading a book called Carnivore Cure by Judy Cho. Now, this isn't all brand new information that she has here, but it does make it succinct. And so it just kind of helps bring in all the other things that we're learning from all the other books we're reading, conferences we go to, studies that we read about, videos we watch, podcasts we listen to, just everything. There's so much nutrition information out there that it really makes me wonder how the heck I never saw this for the first 35 years that I was in the medical field. I never knew about all this nutrition information that is absolutely mind-blowing. So this is one of them. This is the food colorings that we put in our foods. And I hope by the end of this, it will make you so mad that you quit eating this fake food and definitely quit giving this to your children. And you'll see that they put food coloring in almost everything in the United States. So to start off, back in 1938, because of an elixir that somebody produced, gave it to a bunch of people, and 100 people died from this elixir, and that's including children. So since then, that's why in 1958 they came out with the Delaney Clause, and this was an amendment. And this Delaney Clause amendment said that if there's any substance that is added to foods that is found to cause cancer in humans or animals, it cannot be used as a food additive. That was back in 1958, 20 years later after 1938, when they started having these issues with people dying from this elixir. And so that's where we came up with the safety. And the safety, again, it's in Foods, Drugs, and Cosmetic Act of 1938. But now we found that the artificial dyes, the Centers for Science and the Public Interest has shown that artificial dyes can cause organ damage, cancer, congenital disabilities, which means from the birth, as the child's actually in utero, this can even cause problems with them. And then since they put the food color in everything and baby foods and everything, our children are being exposed to this constantly and a lot. So there's congenital disabilities, allergic reactions, hyperactivity, and other behavioral problems in children. These are actually caused just from the dyes themselves, these chemicals that they come up just to cover food. So these artificial colorings are toxic to children. Please be aware of that. Now, it's really crazy. The dyes that we're talking about right now, there's only 7 dyes that we're talking about. We're talking about red. There's 2 reds, 2 yellows, 2 blues, and a green. So the 2 reds are red 3 and red 40. The yellows are yellow 5 and yellow 6. The blues are blue 1 and blue 2. And the green is green 3. And I'll repeat those back here in a little bit, but we're going to be talking about these all the way through this podcast. So the most common of all those 7 dyes that we use, 4 of those are the most common. And those are red 40, blue 1, yellow 5, and yellow 6. Okay, so those 4. And it's already been shown that red 40, blue 1, or red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6. So red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6 have already been shown to contain carcinogens, which means they have been shown that they actually can produce or they can cause cancer. Okay. And these are the ones that we use in the United States that are common. So, and nearly half of all the foods that are marketed to children contain these food colorings. Okay, almost half of these. And so some examples of what we're talking about. And the crazy thing is that our FDA in the United States allows all these toxic dyes in their foods. Other countries like Europe, like Great Britain, they do not allow all these dyes in their foods. And this is an example. Fanta Orange soda pop in the United Kingdom, it is colored with pumpkin and carrot extracts. However, in the United States, that same Fanta Orange pop that's produced here contains red 40 and yellow 6. And both of those are the ones that are also known to cause cancer. McDonald's strawberry sundaes. In the United Kingdom, these are colored with actual strawberries. That's where they get their coloring. But in the United States, we color ours with red 40. And red 40 is a horrible dye, as are all these. So now you may be wondering what the numbers are. The numbers are just codes. So like blue 1 is chemically different from blue 2. Okay. So they're just codes. And the reason why these codes aren't sequential, why it's not, red 1, red 2, yellow 1, yellow 2, blue 1, blue 2. The reason why was because there are actually 24 different dyes that have been put into our foods. And of those 24 food colorings, 17 have already been banned, either voluntarily withdrawn or they were actually banned. And again, so 17 out of 24 food colorings that our food companies put into food until they found out that it was causing all these adverse effects, and then they had to take them out. 17 out of 40 or out of 24 were removed. That's a 71% failure rate. This is horrible, and the stuff is still going on. Even though we know that these cause cancer, in the United States, our FDA allows it in our food, and this is crazy. So again, just so you remember, the red dyes that are still being used in the United States are red 3 and red 40, yellow 5 and yellow 6, blue 1 and blue 2, and green 3. Now, I would say, remember those, look at those, write them down, and go to your foods and see if they contain any of these. But really, you don't have to. If you just see anything on a label that says artificial coloring, and even if it says artificial or natural coloring in the United States, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean it's actually natural coloring like you see in the United Kingdom. But the fact is, again, you can avoid all these just by not eating this man-made fake food that they're selling in all these grocery stores. So these red dyes, and I'll go into just a little bit. There are all the dyes except red 3 have been banned in other countries. Every single other dye, all these dyes that we're allowed in the US, they've all been banned in other countries except red 3. But here's the kicker. Okay. The FDA acknowledged that red 3 causes cancer back in 1984. But in 1990, we banned, because we found out it caused cancer. In 1990, they banned some uses of red 3. Those uses, red 3, they've proven that it causes thyroid cancer and causes chromosomal damage. But in 1990, what they did was they took red 3 out of anything that is applied to the skin. So our FDA said that red 3 causes cancer, and you cannot put this coloring red 3 in anything you apply to skin, any of the cosmetics. However, it's still in our food dyes. So for some reason, they think that it's horrible to have cancer things on your skin, but it's not horrible to eat them. It's absolutely ludicrous what is going on here, because like I said, these red 3 they already know that cause thyroid cancer and chromosomal damage, but red 3 is in so many things in our products. So why do they put it in there? Why do they even put this red 3 into our food products? The reason why is just because it's aesthetically pleasing. That's why it looks pretty to the eye, because they know that if it looks pretty to the eye, then also that's going to motivate more purchase. More people are going to buy in their foods if it looks good. And the more people who buy their foods, the more money the food industries have, the more money for their shareholders. everybody wins. Everybody wins financially, except for the people who eat this, and it's causing all kinds of horrible adverse effects. And they have to get medications, go to the hospital, go to the doctor, everything else besides the changes that they're actually making. So this is crazy. So how much food should these food companies actually be putting in the dye, or how much can? Studies have shown that some kids are affected by these food colorings as low as 35 milligrams per day per person. Okay. That's a lot of kids are. And almost all children are affected by levels of 100 milligrams or more a day. Okay. And again, please listen to this, because this is crazy. Because the amount of food coloring that the Americans eat right now, it's 5 times higher than it was back in 1950. And this was actually in 2010. In 1950, it was estimated that we ate about 12 milligrams of food coloring per person per day. 12 milligrams in 1950. In 2010, that rose to 62 milligrams per person per day. So that's a 5-time increase just from 1950 to 2010. Now, since July 2010, most European foods that contain artificial dyes, they have to contain the warning that says this food may cause hyperactivity in children, because the dyes cause hyperactivity in children. However, that's only in other countries. We don't have to do that in the United States. We don't have to tell anybody. We don't have to let anybody know that these dyes are causing cancer and hyperactivity and attention deficit and everything else in kids. So now go to 2011. In 2011, the FDA acknowledged that food dye causes behavioral problems in kids. However, they've done nothing to take these dyes out. They actually made an acknowledgement in 2011, said, yes, they know that this causes behavioral problems in children. Now, the main ones that they do is red 40. Red 40 has been shown to cause extreme hyperactivity and ADHD type things with hyperactivity and inattentiveness. So you have a child who's eating this man-made fake food. You're giving them the candies and cookies and cereals and all this stuff with this red dye. These children are getting hyperactive on this red dye. And instead of the food companies letting everybody know this is a problem, they don't, because now they can send their children over to the medical system and they can start having medications for attention deficit disorder. And that's a big reason why we're seeing ADHD everywhere now. And we aren't, just like with our food system, we are not taking care of the base cause. All we're doing is treating symptoms. If you eat red dye and you get hyperactive, we got a medication that we can give to you that's going to cause all kinds of adverse effects, including problems with going to school with these children. Okay, it's crazy. Yellow 5 has also been shown to cause irritability, restlessness, and difficulty sleeping in children. And blue 1 also has been shown to cause ADHD in children, or these symptoms of hyperactivity and inattentiveness. Okay, so red 40 and blue 1 have definitely been shown, and yellow 5 also cause similar symptoms. And these are 3 of the main dyes that we use in our foods today in the United States. So the Purdue University, back in 2014, Purdue University published a study in clinical pediatrics. And what they did, they went to this big grocery store in North Carolina, and they looked at 810 different products in this grocery store in North Carolina. Of the 810 products that they looked at, 350 of them contained food colorings. 300, that's 43.2% of all the foods in the food system that these food companies make. 43.2% contained these food colorings. The most common ones was red 40. Like we said, red 40, okay, that was in 29.8% of all the food products. And this is now 29.8% of all the food products that you buy that man makes, these fake foods that you get in the grocery store, 29.8% of them contain red 40. And remember, red 40 is already known, causes cancer, is carcinogenic, and it also causes irritability, hyperactivity, and everything in children. Okay. And it's in almost 30% of our foods. Blue one's in 24.2% of our food. And remember, that one also has to do with attention deficit and irritability in children. Yellow 5 is in 20.5% of our food. And that also, remember, we've already found out that that also can cause cancer. And yellow 6 is in 19.5% of all our foods. And again, this one is known for causing cancer and also hyperactivity. So the 4 main food colorings that are in our grocery stores now are known to cause cancer and also cause hyperactivity. So what were the highest percentages of all these food? Of the highest percentages in the stores that contain this, the children's cereals contained 43.2% of all the children's cereals contain these red dyes. So almost 50% contain dyes. The other 86% of all the frozen breakfast foods, these also contain these dyes. Then 89.7%, almost 90% of all the drink mixes and powders that you buy from the grocery stores, those also contain these horrible food colorings. And 94% of all the fruit flavored snacks, 94% contain food colorings. And then the last or most is candy. 96.3% of all the candy that you find in the grocery store has these artificial food colorings that are causing cancer and causing hyperactivity in our children. And we're still allowing this stuff in our food today. And that's what Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is trying to get out of our foods. And it may take a couple of years to do this, but I really hope he does this, because this is horrible. And all the other countries have already done it. So why can't the United States do it? Money. It's all money. It's all about money. So hopefully now we can get people quit thinking about money and thinking about our health and start eating healthy. Our country, as a country, we're going to go get so much further if we actually start eating healthy. So, and we talked about how much does it cause? Remember, we said that 35 milligrams can cause these effects. There's 35 milligrams per person per day. 35 milligrams can cause this effect in some children. But at levels of great above 100 milligrams, then this affects almost all the children. Okay, almost every child is affected when you have that much. How much is in our servings now? The food coloring, they've shown that a lot of the food coloring in a single serving, a lot of this food is higher than what they've shown in the clinical trials that impairs behavior. Some of these, it's estimated that our children consumed around 100 to 200 milligrams of artificial coloring per person per day. 100 to 200 milligrams of every one of our children is consuming this. If you're eating this man-made products from these food stores, 100 to 200 milligrams, when it's already been shown that over 100 milligrams affects almost every child, and even as low as 35 milligrams affects some children. So people, that's really what I wanted you to realize. This is going to be a short podcast, but I think it's been said. I hope I have let you know. Please look through your pantries, look through your refrigerators, look through all the places where you keep this fake food in the box, bottles, bags, and cans that man is making and telling you that that's nutrition, which it is the furthest thing from nutrition. Look at your products, and if you have one of these food colorings, whether it tells you exactly which one it is, or if it just says food colorings or food dyes, however they want to stay it on their ingredient list, it's the exact same thing. It's going to be one of these 7, and chances are it's going to be one of these 4 that are causing all the trouble. So please do yourself a favor, do your children a favor, and throw that stuff out. Don't be thinking of it like, oh my gosh, I can't be throwing away food, because it's not food. It's toxins. I wouldn't want to clean out my pantry and have all these toxins and go and give it to a shelter or give it to somebody else because you think you're being nice by giving them food. You're not. You're giving them toxins. Throw it in the trash where it belongs. So I know I talk about this all the time. It sounds horrible. It sounds daunting. Just like I've talked about people who have gluten insensitivities or even celiac disease. people who have these, they feel like they are overwhelmed. It's like, oh my gosh, it's in everything. Gluten is in everything. These dyes are in everything, but it's not. It's only in man-made food. It is not in God-made food. You eat real meat, real fruit, real vegetables, you can avoid all these horrible toxins that our food companies are putting in our food. It's all chemicals, but they're telling you that it's food. There's no nutrient value in it whatsoever. So please do not be afraid to throw these toxins out of your refrigerator, out of your cupboards, out of your pantries. Get them out and definitely throw them out of there so you can get them out of your bodies and let your body start healing itself from the inside out like it should be doing when you give it nutrients. So I'm not going to sit here and belittle this. It's a short podcast, but I hope you understand how important it is. Please avoid food colorings, avoid these food dyes, stick to God-made food, and I guarantee you will be feeling better. If you can wipe out all man-made products and go with just God-made products, just try that for 1 month and see how much better you feel. So that's all I really have to say today. I don't want to belittle the point, but I do want you to be extremely aware of what's going on in our food system today. So until next time, as always, have a fantastic week. And thank you so much for listening. And please make simple, healthy choices to live a quality life.